From wind to stone, the journey begins. It begins with wind.in, the quiet town of Best, North Brabant. The morning air carries a rhythm, soft, persistent, like breath against the skin. At the edge of Molenstraat, the blades of Molen de Volharding turn slowly, slicing the sky with quiet dignity. Built in 1851, rebuilt after fire in 1884, this windmill is more than wood and gear, it is memory. Locals call it the windmill of perseverance, and rightly so. It has stood through generations, watching the town change, but never losing its rhythm. That I stand beside it, bicycle ready, heart steady. The saddle is worn, the tires familiar with the cobblestones of Best. I take a breath. The windmill creaks once, as if nodding in approval. And then I begin. The ride is short, barely a minute, maybe two. But time stretches when the soul is attentive. The wheels hum beneath me. I pass the canal, still as glass. A heron watches from the bank, unmoving. The bakery is closed, but the scent of yesterday's bread lingers. The old oak leans east, listening to the wind's secrets. And then, through the mist, it appears, Sint-Odulfskirk. Its spire rises like a needle stitching sky to earth. Gothic, solemn and serene. The church doesn't call, it waits. Its presence is not loud, but it is undeniable. The door is open, always open, as if it knows that faith, like wind, must be allowed to enter freely. I dismount. The bicycle rests against the stone wall, its frame still warm from the sun's first touch. I step forward. No creak, no echo, just the hush of reverence. Inside, the air shifts. It's cooler, denser, filled with centuries of breath and belief. This church, named after Saint Odulphus, a 9th century missionary monk from Oireachtas, has long been a spiritual anchor in Best. The current structure, built in the late 19th century, replaced earlier chapels that once stood on this sacred ground. Its neo-Gothic architecture, pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and stained glass windows, echoes the grandeur of medieval devotion, while its heart remains rooted in the local community. The priest is there, not in the center but to the side, preparing for prayer. His movements are slow, deliberate, like choreography born of devotion. I do not disturb. I become part of the silence. That a soft religious melody plays in the background. It doesn't command attention, it offers it. The notes float, gentle and unassuming, like feathers caught in a sacred breeze. The organ's breath is steady, like the windmill's rhythm, but here it turns inward. To the left, a miniature model of the church sits quietly, a replica of devotion crafted with care. Its tiny spire mirrors the real one above, a reminder that faith can be both grand and intimate. I lean in. The details are astonishing: tiny pews, stained glass, even the bell tower. Someone built this with love, not just skill. The walls are adorned with icons, each one a portal to biblical stories, painted in solemn strokes, framed in gold and shadow. Moses parting the sea, Mary cradling the infant Christ, the Last Supper frozen in time. Their eyes meet mine, not with judgment, but with invitation. I walk slowly along the lateral aisle. The floor beneath me is worn smooth by generations of footsteps. Every stone holds a story. Every echo is a memory. The arches above me curve like frozen waves of faith, reaching upward, always upward. Light filters through stained glass, casting colors that dance on the stone floor. Reds, blues, greens, like divine brushstrokes on a canvas of silence. I pause beneath a window depicting Saint Odulphus himself, staff in hand, eyes lifted skyward. He was a teacher, a traveler, a man of words and wonder. His legacy lives not just in sermons but in silence. In the stillness of this place, the priest begins his prayer. I do not watch, I listen. His voice is low, steady, wrapped in ritual. It blends with the music, the architecture, the air itself. I close my eyes. For a moment, I am not a visitor. I am part of the liturgy of light and shadow. Outside, the wind waits. The windmill waits. She is patient. She knows this visit is not about distance, but depth. She circles the spire, rustles the leaves, and hums a lullaby only the church can hear. I exit quietly. The door closes behind me with a whisper. The bicycle is still there. The journey continues, but something within me has already arrived, from windmill to sanctuary, from motion to stillness. This was not a trip. It was a passage. Chapter 2, Echoes of Faith, Carried by Wind, extended version. The church is quiet but not empty. It holds echoes, of footsteps, of prayers, of whispered hopes. I walk slowly, letting the silence guide me. The air is cool, almost sacred, as if the walls themselves are breathing. To my left, the miniature model of Sint-Odulfskirk catches my eye again. It's more than a replica, it's a memory carved in wood. Every detail is precise: the spire, the arches, the tiny windows. Even the benches are there, arranged with care. It's a church within a church, a symbol of devotion scaled down but never diminished. I pause beside it, imagining the hands that built it. Steady hands, patient hands. Perhaps someone who once sat in these pews, who knew the rhythm of the prayers and the weight of the silence. The model doesn't speak, but it listens. Like the windmill outside, it holds stories without needing words. The icons on the walls glow softly in the filtered light. Each one is a portal to a biblical moment, painted in solemn strokes, framed in gold and shadow. The Annunciation, the Crucifixion, the Resurrection. Their expressions are timeless. Their presence grounding. I feel watched but not judged, invited but not summoned. The music continues. A soft hymn, perhaps Latin, perhaps Dutch. It doesn't matter. It speaks in a language older than words, a language of reverence. The organ breathes slowly, its notes rising like incense. The melody wraps around the arches, settles into the stone, and finds its way into me. I sit for a moment on one of the wooden benches. The grain of the wood is smooth, worn by generations. I imagine the lives that passed through here: baptisms, weddings, funerals, joy and sorrow, all under this roof. The bench creaks slightly as if acknowledging my presence. Above me, the stained glass glows. The sun has shifted, and now the colors dance more freely: reds like fire, blues like sky, greens like spring. The light moves across the floor, painting temporary miracles on cold stone. I walk slowly toward the altar, careful not to disturb the priest. He is still in prayer, his posture unchanged, his focus unwavering. I admire his stillness. It is not rigid, it is rooted. Like the windmill, he turns inward, powered by something unseen. I pass a side chapel, tucked quietly behind a column. A single candle burns there, its flame steady. I don't know who lit it or why, but I feel its presence. A small act of faith, flickering in the shadows. The architecture surrounds me. Neo-Gothic, yes, but more than style. Its intention. The pointed arches, the ribbed vaults, the vertical lines that draw the eye upward. Everything here is designed to lift, to elevate thought, spirit, breath. Even the silence feels taller. I pause beneath a window depicting St. Odulphus himself. His eyes are lifted, his staff firm in hand. He was a teacher, a traveler, a man of words and wonder, sent from Oerschaut to spread faith across Friesland. He walked with conviction. His legacy lives not just in sermons but in silence. In the stillness of this place. The priest finishes his prayer. He turns, sees me, and nods. No words are exchanged. None are needed. Respect flows silently between us. I nod back, grateful for the moment, for the space, for the shared understanding. I rise and walk toward the exit. The stained glass glows brighter now, as if the sun has decided to bless this moment. Outside, the windmill waits. Mora de Vance stands tall, her blades turning slowly, like the hands of a clock that measures not time but meaning. I return to my bicycle. The ride back is just as short, but the world feels different. The wind carries something new. Not just air, but understanding. The windmill turns once more, slow and steady, like a heartbeat echoing across rooftops. Its rhythm follows me even as I pedal away, like a silent blessing carried on the breeze. And somewhere between the stone and the sky, I realize faith doesn't always speak. It listens. I glance back one last time. The spire of St. Odulfuskirk stands still but alive. The windmill's blades continue their quiet dance, as if marking time not in seconds, but in meaning. Between them, a thread is woven: motion and stillness, wood and stone, breath and silence. This morning was not ordinary. It was a dialogue between two guardians of best. One turns with the wind, one stands with prayer. And I, somewhere in between, carry both within me. Stone, light, and the memory of builders. The morning has passed, but the story continues. I return once more to St. Odulfuskirk, not as a visitor, but as a witness. The windmill behind me turns slowly, its rhythm unchanged. But inside the church, time feels layered, like sediment pressed into stone. I step through the open door again. It never resists, welcomes. The same hush greets me, but now I listen deeper. The silence is not empty, it is full. Full of footsteps long gone, of voices that once echoed, of builders who shaped this place with hands and hope. The architecture begins to speak. Neo-Gothic, they call it. A revival of medieval grandeur born in the 19th century. But here, in Best, it is not just style, it is statement. The pointed arches stretch upward, not for decoration, but for direction. They guide the eye, the thought, the spirit, towards something higher. The rib vaults above me are not merely structural, they are symbolic. Each rib, each curve is a gesture of faith. The ceiling does not press down, it lifts, it breathes. It holds the weight of centuries with grace that I walk slowly, tracing the lines of the columns. They rise like trees in a sacred forest, their capitals carved with quiet detail. Some bear floral motifs, others geometric patterns. Each one is a signature, a whisper from the mason who shaped it. The stained glass windows glow with more confidence now. The sun has climbed, and its light pours through with purpose. Scenes from Scripture unfold in color. Christ among the children, the descent of the Holy Spirit, the journey of Saint Adolphus. The glass is not just art, it is theology and light. That I pause beneath the largest window facing east. It is a mosaic of blues and golds with Adolphus at its center. His eyes are calm, his posture firm. He holds a scroll and a staff, symbols of wisdom and mission. Born in Oerschacht, he walked north to Friesland, preaching, teaching, building bridges of belief. His name lives on not just in this church, but in the spirit of its design. The altar stands quietly, dressed in white linen. Candles flicker. A chalice rests beside a folded cloth. It is not elaborate, but it is sacred. The altar is the heart of the church, not because of its position, but because of its purpose. Here bread becomes symbol, wine becomes memory, silence becomes prayer. That I move toward the choir stalls. There. Wood is dark, polished by time. Each seat carved with care, each armrest worn smooth. I imagine the voices that once rose from here, Gregorian chants, hymns in Dutch, Latin invocations. The acoustics are gentle, not grand. They do not amplify, they embrace. Above the choir, the organ pipes gleam. Some tall, some narrow, all silent for now. But I remember their sound, deep, resonant, like wind through hollow stone. The organ is the windmill's cousin. Both powered by breath, both built to move something invisible. That I find a plaque near the entrance. It lists the names of those who served here. Priests, caretakers, builders. Some names are familiar, others are lost to time. But all are part of the foundation. This church was not built in a day. It was built in devotion, layer by layer, prayer by prayer. The floor beneath me is a patchwork of stone. Some tiles are newer, others worn. I step carefully, knowing that each one has carried someone's story. A child's first steps, a widow's farewell, a pilgrim's pause. That I sit again, this time near the back. The perspective shifts. From here, the church feels vast, but not distant. The arches frame the altar like a painting. The light falls, in quiet angles. The wind outside rustles the leaves, but inside, everything is still. And then I notice something I hadn't before. A small carving near the base of a column. It's a face. Not a saint, not a symbol. Just a face. Perhaps the sculptor's own. A signature hidden in stone. A reminder that behind every sacred space, there are human hands. That I rise slowly. The priest is gone now. The music has faded. But the presence remains. This building is not just brick and mortar, it is breath and memory. It is a vessel for silence, a container for light. Outside, the windmill turns. Its blades catch the breeze, steady and slow. It does not rush. It does not tire. It simply continues. That I return to my bicycle. The saddle is warm again. The handlebars familiar. I pedal away, but I carry the church with me, not in my hands, but in my rhythm. From windmill to sanctuary, from architecture to spirit, from the builders who carved stone to the believers who filled it with meaning, this was not a visit. It was a pilgrimage, and somewhere between the turning blades and the rising spire, I found something still.